continue with this theme now, really about getting jobs in the tech field. And so our next speaker is going to, actually, I'm going to bring Chaitra up here because she's going to bring up Vinay and Kumar and have a conversation with him. Chaitra is the Women in Cloud founder, one of them, and she's just the most awesome, amazing, award-winning person that I know who's expanding economic pathways for women and everyone around the world. So Chai, take it over for breaking into in-demand cloud and AI jobs.
Sure. First, Patty, stay here. Stay here with me. We
Okay.
have to keep 5 minutes entertained till Vinay comes on, because from a timing perspective,
he was at this part. Okay, good.
Okay, so I think we should have some, I would say the attendees come and ask questions so we can answer some stuff for the next 5 minutes.
Yes, I think that sounds fantastic. All right. So a couple of things I wondered about is I want to know from anybody out there, how many of you have within the last 2 years had to change your job in some way? And I'm talking about actually change from one, what you were doing to expanding your role somewhere else, to shifting how you actually approached work. Let's see some comments in the chat. Anybody who has. All right. Alyssa did. Shara did. Nicole did. Sarah. Hey, Sarah, I want to know who wants to come up here and just tell us about how you were able to pivot and what you pivoted to. Marriott or Douglas or Deborah or Marianne, anybody put your hand up if you want to come up and just chat with us for a second, because we'd love to hear from you about how you were able to move your organization or get to a new job. We know that, we heard that, Chandra talked about it, about how she, she had a great job. Okay. All right.
Can you hear me? Hello. Nice to see you.
Turn your mic on. Can't hear you. Are you talking?
This is as loud as I get.
Okay, good. All right. Sounds great.
Hello.
So tell us about how you were able to pivot. What'd you do? What happened, Sarah?
So after a career in high tech, I went back to medical school and became a physician. The pandemic took my primary care practice online. I pivoted to telehealth 100% and resurrected my high-tech career because of the opportunity to participate and contribute remotely. Now I'm merging the two together and keeping tech professional as well as creating new products and technology as a product management consultant. So it was a big shift, painful, lots of restless nights and stress. But like others have said, when one door shuts hard, other opportunities come up. So I'm working with a wonderful group, the Otigo Group, who's a co-sponsor of the event, as a product management consultant, working with startups, bringing 1.0 products to market, as well as working on my own offering of helping stressed out tech workers not go insane and keep their health.
That is fantastic. I love it. Okay, cool. I love it. So, all right. Well, number one, congratulations that you did that. Number two, I love that what happened was you got to merge your two things that you were good at. I think that's part of the road of however you get wherever you are, right? That you don't really know when you're learning something. You think, well, why am I doing all these other things, And you think, oh yeah, I'm just doing this, that, and the other thing. And then all at once, it all comes together, which is really amazing. I think, that's part of the magic of change. So cool.
The combination of two disciplines is where magic can happen.
I love that. Yes.
Transferable skills.
I love that. So, here's a technique you can try. You can take something that you're good at and another skill that you have and try to mash them together. And what does that come up? What does it bring you? What could it be? What could it become? All right. Thank you. All right. Let's hear from Lorena. All right. Tell us.
Hey there. Yeah. So, a few years ago, I was in sales. That's what I was doing. But I was in a situation where we were low on resources. I had a chatbot demo and I had to roll up my sleeves, drink a bunch of coffee, maybe Monster Energy drinks, and spend a weekend using YouTube to learn how to build my own chatbot demo. And from there, from there it was just all right. Like, I want to learn more. What is this? I want to know all these things. And then it's funny. They call me the Swiss Army knife. My company was mostly men that I was at, but I was able to pivot from doing PMO stuff, from doing things and learning all these other areas. And now I'm actually at a partner where I'm trying to drive the overall strategy for Azure. And so it's interesting because if you would have asked me just a couple of years ago, I would have thought you were crazy. So
I love that. That is so incredible. And that's such a different, and what a pivot for you. So that's so great. Plus, the one thing that I heard, I don't know about you, Chai, but I heard her talking about how she, I love when you're compared to a Swiss Army knife for anything, right? But because that means that you're willing to do and open and do anything to learn and upskill yourself. And I think that you have to be willing to do that. No matter, everything changes so fast. You have to learn the technology. You can't just assume that you're going to hire people to do it for you. You need to, if you're an entrepreneur, you need to understand at least what people are doing for you so you can give them instruction and direction. You can't just say, I don't understand anything about X, Y, and Z. You got to dig in, roll up your sleeves and get going. And you are a perfect example. So what did you learn about yourself in the process?
Well, I thought, I at one point when this was all going on was trying to start my own business and staffing. I thought that's the path I wanted to be on. And I learned that's not. And I learned for myself that I actually have this deeper passion for technology that I just didn't know until I tried. So.
Oh, that is so cool. And staffing, no, for you, no, that wouldn't have been good. Not a good fit. Not now, because look what you get to do now. So that's really cool. I love it. Thank you so much.
It was just growing. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I'm sure Chai will have a question too, but Marriott, how's it going? What'd you do? What happened? Tell us all about it.
All right, I think I'm off mute. Hi, everyone. Well, actually, my shift was in the last 3 years, around 3 years, right before the pandemic was when I left my 20 plus years in corporate in different organizations to go into executive coaching and really to leaders and help them grow and make the biggest impact that they can in kind of their teams and for themselves. So that has been kind of the in most recent years. But I was going to say, I actually did a similar exercise that Barbara talked about, the life, kind of that life
map
journey exercise with the coach when mentioning. And I actually realized that I did many pivots during my year career, where I started in tech, into marketing, and went into product, and went into business executive, and then now I'm kind of doing my own consulting and coaching business. So it's been very interesting.
That's fantastic. And for me, so when I think about the future, I'm always asking people to future cast. And I've been learning that the farther out you can future cast for yourself, like how do you want to be? Dan Sullivan talks about doubling your age, right? Whenever you decide to do it, double your age. And what will you be doing then? But the other thing that you're talking about is the idea of backcasting. And some people understand backcasting as you figure out the milestones to get from where you are to there. But I like to backcast all the way back, because then you see the trajectory of where you've been able to pivot in your career and what you've changed into, right? So that is so essential. So I love that. And then when you opened your own consulting, hung up your own shingle, then how did you get clients, or did people already know you and they immediately hired you, or how'd you do that and manage your anxiety?
I wish it was as that, Patty. But yeah, definitely. I think one main thing is really just the connection with people. And I don't like the word network because it feels like work, but for me, it really came down to connection. And really, I was so grateful that I was able to reconnect with a lot of folks that I think when you're in a position and when you're at work, I actually realized I didn't reach out to a lot of people I have crossed paths with, and that I
Yeah.
would have wanted to either caught up and learn more. And when I was starting, I got the chance. It's almost an excuse to say, hey, let's catch up. I'm doing something. Can we, let's talk. And it was, it really is just almost reactions. And of course, making new ones. I mean, I think Women in Cloud is one that I love, the community here. Definitely kind of creating the new communities that I am wanting to get into versus just, oh, it's part of work. Here's a conference I need to go to. It's not like that anymore.
Yes, well, what I know to be true is that technique that you used of contacting people, just know that throughout your entrepreneurial career, that's a good strategy. Because whenever I would feel like I wasn't sure what was going to happen or I didn't have enough in the pipeline, I would just send out emails to people like, I'm thinking about you, what are you up to? And then inevitably they'd be working on a project and they needed me to help, right? So you have to, people are out there, think about how much people are inundated with all the information. So they're not thinking about you. Even if you're fantastic, they're still not going to think about you first. They're going to think about whoever is in their sphere, and then they're influenced by what other people say. So if you bring yourself front of mind, it always helps. And that goes back to what somebody said earlier is that, that you want to reflect the essence of you in your resume and everything you do. Your brand is essential to always be refreshing it, and how you look online and in how you greet people even. What would you say, Chai? I see you unmuted. I love that.
Yes, I think most of us, how we pivot is based on the skills we have, where we can add value, and you need to see those opportunities. And what you're doing is connecting, learning, and contributing. I think that's the success for each one of us. And I think that's the framework. If we all use, I think we'll be very happy in wherever we go, right? And we can make a difference. So I would say, Patty, Sarah and Lorena and Maria, thank you so much for coming online and helping us create some amazing content when the speaker was trying to get on the technology. So I really appreciate it. So Patty, Vinay is here. So let's bring him on.
All right. So let's bring him up, everybody. Thanks for jumping in, and we'll see you. I'm going to turn it over to Chai and let her take us into the next section.
Perfect. Thanks, Patty. So first is, hopefully you all are having a lot of amazing learning moments today. If yes, put +1 or give me some emojis so I know that you're having a blast. But the next question I have is, how many of you are interested to break into in-demand cloud and AI jobs? Anyone? +1, put +1 in the chat. Excellent. I see a couple of them. Okay, so here is what it is. This particular topic is like literally 10 to 12 minutes. What we will talk about is how to actually break into the cloud and AI jobs, knowing what you know, and what are the strategies you need to have in place. Just a very simple 4-step strategy that we will talk about. So I will have Vinay, who is actually our CTO for Women in Cloud, and he will come and really educate all of us. And I'm just going to ask him, set a few questions for him so he can help us navigate. Sounds good? Okay, Vinay, first is thank you so much for waking up early in the morning to be here, because he's based out of India. So before we get there, I want to ask everybody, the third question is, what is the biggest challenge you are having to prepare yourself for securing the cloud job? What is the biggest challenge you have preparing yourself for securing a cloud job? Put it in the chat. So as you are thinking and writing, I'll talk a little bit about Vinay. I met him I think 8 years ago. I think it was an instant connection that we had to work together. And it's been amazing the amount of innovations we have done together on cloud and AI. And a very interesting story. We were in Barcelona for the Mobile World Congress, and we were supposed to meet with some Google folks there. And there was a couple of kids who were sitting and they wanted to know how to get into cloud. And Vinay was explaining the entire framework for them. And it went from like 5 minute to 2 hour conversation. And all of us became friends. We actually keep in touch. Some of us are interested. So that's Vinay, very absolutely highly contributing to the team. Anytime we have a complex issue, he'll say, I'll get it done. So that's Vinay. And I think, Vinay, you will always have opportunities in your life. So here I would like you to say, I want you to predict for 2022 in the context of cloud and AI. Just what do you predict?
Hey, Chaitra. Hello, all. Thank you so much for joining us. And I think, Chaitra, we shouldn't be predicting. We have some numbers. Based on that, we need to be forecasting and telling our folks here, like, what kind of job opportunities that they can look forward to, right? There are some amazing numbers. And you guys wouldn't believe that if I told you today, as of today, we have 10% of the world jobs are cloud and AI jobs. And this is not a random number, and this is the number from Monster itself, right? So out of all the jobs that's there in the world today, the 10% of the jobs that are there is for cloud and AI jobs. And again, right, like, this number is increasing every month. And when I mean it, it's not happening every year, it's happening every month. The pace at the technology is growing, and especially since the pandemic, it's insane. And every month there has been an increase of cloud jobs close to about 10 to 12%. That's a number. I mean, like, that means that, in a year we're going to double it, we're going to triple it in probably 2 years, right? So that's the kind of opportunity which is there. And again, right, this opportunity is not only for people from tech, it's for everybody, right? So that's something that, we would want to, like, discuss in the next 10 to 12 minutes, Chaitra.
So Vinay, before we go there to the monster data, let's go through every slide, right? Hold on. Let's go back to the slide. Let's talk about how is world changing. I think talking about that one would be pretty spectacular. Do you want to kind of give some insights so that we kind of set the stage, and then we take everybody through the data and what opportunities are there and how they prepare for it?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
And a lot of times, right, like, we all think, like, cloud is something which is which is somewhere there, and then it's going to be super technical, it's going to be so complex. But if you realize the conversation that we are having right now, it's happening because of cloud, right? Like, Remo is hosted on cloud. And any tool that we use today, right, starting from Canva to the emails that we use, everything is powered by cloud. And then people forget it because it's happening at the background. And the world has changed, right? Like, the technology has come a long way in the last 10 to 12 years, starting from, like, adopting drones to having the number of data. I mean, just imagine the kind of digital conversations that we have every day. We were just on a group chat on WhatsApp, and the number of chats that came in the last night was close to about 500, right? And if at all the 500 conversations have to happen 10 years ago, it probably would have taken a few days, but it isn't. The data is changing. Like, we are growing with data. But while all of these things are happening, but there are also equal amount of threats. The threats are coming from like everywhere. Like, people can break into your personal conversations. How do we protect it, right? And then there is also the whole IoT experience where, like, everything is through technology, right? Like, I know who is coming at my doorsteps, like, what time does my the heater need to switch on. All of that has been controlled by technology. But if we look at 10 years ago, this wasn't the case. And then the entire technology landscape is changing, and predominantly because of cloud.
Sure. So let's go to the data, which you talked about the monster. So I know, Erin, you're moving the slides. If you can move to slide number 6, can you explain a little bit more around what you're seeing from the data around the jobs?
Yes. So as I earlier said, 10% of the world total jobs take up for cloud and AI jobs. And again, this entire 10% is not all technical. There is a whole lot of the supplementary jobs. There are jobs which align towards making the customer success very, very important. So this 10% of the jobs are all cloud and AI jobs. And if you look at it, since the pandemic, right? So the yearly growth is 40%. Yearly growth in terms of cloud jobs is 40%. And what takes up most of these jobs is not the senior leadership job, it's the intermediary jobs where people have experience between about 2 to 6 years or 3 to 10 years. That's the kind of like the work experience that we're looking at. And again, like there are some statistics of looking at month wise. I have taken the last 3 months. The last 3 months itself, you can see the amount of surge in the number of jobs that has opened up in cloud and AI space.
Excellent. Going to the next one is you developed this code to customer success framework. Talk about more details, because I think what I want to drive confidence for our audience today is for every tech job, there is 4 to 5 non-technical jobs. So can you talk through that one, Vinay?
Yes, Chaitra. And one of the important things that I always tell people is that if you're taking up your career, you should look at how do you link your performance to the customer success? Like how are you impacting your company goals directly? So if you look at the jobs which are there on the slide right now, there are more opportunities in the non-tech jobs compared to the tech jobs. So if there are the tech jobs are all towards the architecture, engineering, DevOps, security, and network, but there are equal amount of jobs in the non-tech, which are governance, linguistics. Linguistic plays such an important role in AI that most people don't realize, because if the machine learning has to happen, there is a huge need for linguistics to come in and help in terms of understanding the sentences, in understanding the paragraphs, the syntax, and all of that. And more to it is the data that we spoke about. If we are generating such a more enormous amount of data, how do we visualize it? How do we bring in intelligence to that data and then show it to the management to take action? And the last one is, of course, the sales and marketing, right? Which is a very, very key to the organization growth. So I would say that all of these together will contribute to the customer success.
Excellent. The next question is, people are coming from the client server world. They want to know how they want to prepare for the cloud jobs. So if you go to the next slide, Erin. So these are the faces of the cloud. So Vinay, give me some guidance on if people were doing server management or they were doing product management, how does that switch look like? And what are the skills they need to have to just make a smooth transition?
Yes. So, I mean, if you look at all of the opportunities in the cloud, there is some similarity to the any kind of a job that we do. If you're a product manager, learning fundamentals about cloud and knowing how do you manage a cloud project management, you can become a cloud project manager. And also if you are a product manager, and then if you want to become a cloud project manager, so you will have to get in some of the skill sets on the cloud development, on the cloud deployment, and then you can also try and become a cloud product manager. And same is the case with most of the jobs in the cloud environment. And a lot of people think cloud is something different. Yes, it is. There is some amount of skilling that needs to happen, but that can definitely be something that everyone can learn today.
Yeah, and I had this aha moment, Vinay, I would say 6 years ago, when I saw it was like, as a product manager, which I used to do a lot of product management. As a cloud product management is actually a very easy thing. Didn't realize it's just not understanding the cloud basics and applying the same frameworks. It was a very easy, I just had to add cloud in front of me because most of the skills were already there. Okay, getting to the next one. If someone has to prepare for these jobs, how do we need to think? So here is something I would like to have everybody say is, anytime you're looking for a cloud job, always marry yourself to a cloud solution. If you have understand. So if you look at like Microsoft, for example, if you like Teams, that's your solution, and then find out all the jobs around it. If you want to go engineering, you can go engineering. If you can go marketing, operations. So you need to love the solution and the market that solution is in. If you like healthcare, find solutions in healthcare and find the existing roles that surround the solution. That is when you actually can get into the cloud job very easily without thinking about, do I need to be a developer or do I need to be an engineer? So now coming to the preparation, let's get to the slide number 12. Tell us, Vinay, how to think about is preparing for these jobs and what do they need to have in place?
Yeah, I think Chaitra, first of all, right, like, the intent is the most important factor to get into the cloud job. So I wish, like, all of us, like, whoever is trying to do something, be focused, curate a list of companies that you want to get into, right? Like, just find out, like, probably these are the top 10 companies that I would want to land up and I would want to, like, take up a job. Look at some of the jobs that they have listed and then start preparing for it. Like, if there is an opening for a cloud product manager, what are the skills that they're looking for? So you just start preparing backwards so that you exactly align towards the job that you want for. The next one is that the skills. It's so important that we yourself. It's as I said, like, it has so much change in the last 10 years and 15 years. You cannot be just saying that my past skills will help me. You need to get updated every day. So get your certifications, and again, look at all three clouds which are so popular. That's Azure, GCP, and Amazon, the AWS. Now we have our scholarships open at WIC. So reach out to us if at all, if you're looking for a scholarship in terms of, like, getting skilled in cloud. So we would be able to help you. The next important thing is build your network, right? You need to have your people who can surround you and then say, yes, I can probably help you, like, connect here. So that's very important. So build your network. You have LinkedIn, but most of at Women in Cloud, we have this great app called Get Introduced, where you can connect with thought leaders real time. Like, you can get a warm introduction and then check if they can help you to land up with your dream job. And that's going to be a biggest boost, because, like, you're going to get like, I would say, a reference or a referral from somebody who is a cloud leader. And the last one is mastery, right? Like, if you would have skilled at something, start, like, finding the supplementary skills, start adding all those skills to your resume. It's going to be super important.
Perfect, Vinay. So I think you touched all the stuff. So my ask to all of you is, what are your takeaways? So here is what I took away. The opportunity is $1 trillion market. You can get in and really have an amazing career, and you can really grow. So a couple of things: have your cloud skills, which is your foundation, because the way the cloud services work is very different than the client server or any other technology. It's a very different way of how. Think about, like, when you're trying to cook a food, these are all the ingredients you need. It's very similar. You need to know the ingredients to build a cloud solution. Network. You need to network. You need to have warm introduction to meet people who are hiring, have soft skills, really executive presence. We talked about it. That's important. Job and purpose alignment. Find the right companies you want to work with, engage with, whether it's partnering or work for them. Compensation planning. That's also, I heard today, know what the compensation looks like. Last one is find a community that provides high value for you. Dedicate to one, build with them, grow with them, and that's the formula. So we have like 1,000 Azure's scholarships available. So please take, apply for it. This is like a great breakthrough for most of our community members to really get into the cloud. So again, thank you, Vinay, for jumping in and being with us. Yeah, and I will hand over the baton to Patty. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you too. Wow, that was so great. And what's fantastic about this is it totally sets up what's going to happen next.